Alright, welcome. My name is Kome, and in this session, I'm going to take you through creating an API application using plain JavaScript, where you'll be calling the API football.com and you'll be trying to fetch players' details from there. By just sending a player name, you'll be able to fetch some of the other details from from API football.com. So to get started, I will start by creating a file to send the football players folder. So I'll create a new file that will be calling page.html, and then I'll have another file that I'm calling page.css, and another file called page.js for JavaScript. So let's move straight away to the HTML. So I will start by having the HTML boilerplate there, and here in the title, because of search engine optimization, I'll be calling it an application to search for football players. Very good. So from there, I'll move straight away and create my container, which will be containing all my parent elements as you would expect. And inside this container, then I'll be having another container that where I'll be searching now my players. And inside there, I want to have an input box which will contain an ID, which is as such the player that we wish to search for, a search player. And then, of course, we'll be having also a button which on click I should call the get player details function. So from there, you'll just be sending this. So this is the part of the first div. And then once we send and get the response from the asynchronous function, then we'll be able to display it inside the display results. Of course, we'll also have this as we having the ID of a display results like that. So that's good to go. So from there, let's now go ahead and link this to our CSS here. So link relevance is equals to style sheet, and then the href will be equals to page.css. You also come down there near the body, the end tag, and then say script src is equals to page.js, and there we'll end our scripts. So from there, you move the page.css and do something to our container, which is our parent, and of course we will give it a width of 100 view width, a height of 100 view height. Then we'll have a display of flex to display all these elements, the child elements as flex elements. Then I will say justify content center, justify the children to center, and then align items center. And then of course, because I want it to be aligned vertically or to move vertically, I will say flex direction, I will set that column. Then I'll have, of course, a background color where I will set the background color, HSLA, use saturation, lightness, and on 20 hue. And then I will set 90% saturation, 40% lightness, and then 0.5 alpha. That will give me a good light green there. So I will save this. Then I will click the page.html and then start with preview server and see what happens. So there we have our application. You can see this is the parent container. Then this is our search players, which has the input box and the send. And of course, now we have the display results down there. So having done that, then we should go ahead and try to create the JavaScript to handle that. Get player details. So let's move directly there, get player details. So this will be an asynchronous function get player details. So asynchronous function get player details. And then of course this will be now this function that will be called upon the clicking of this. So get player. So from there, I will need now to go to API-football.com and try to check for an API key. So API, I'll search for API football, and then once it loads, I will move directly to logging in. Football API, football, not football, it's API-football.com. Yes, it's the one that is down here. API-football.com. So I'll just say register, and upon registering, of course, I'll just log in because I already have an account there. So I already have an account, so I'll just say login, and then once I log in, then I'll be able to just sign in. So once I sign in, then I will be directly into the dashboard of this application or this API. So from there, I'll just copy this key because it will be very useful for us as we send these requests. So from there, just move the documentation, and I'm interested in sending a player. So I'll just go to the players, and of course I have the parameters that I'm requiring to send. For example, you can see here, if I send, I can send the player name and the API key. So from there, I'll just navigate to create a constant API key that I will be calling, that will be having the string that I have copied from the online site there. And then from there, I will have the constant, this player name that we are searching, search player. So we'll come and say search player, or maybe the player itself, player herself, given by document dot get element by ID, then search player, like that, dot value, search player dot value. Okay. So from there, the next part will be then to be able to copy this URL itself very fast. So let's copy this URL. So you copy this URL and paste it there. So of course we'll have this as now the const URL, constant URL, which will be given by, now we'll use the template literals to bind our strings so that we can pass in some variables. And the variables that we are going to pass in here is the API key, which will pass in as a string literal API key. That is well understood. And then the player name here, we also pass this as a string literal. So put the $, brackets, then just say player. So like that. So that we have our complete URL, which is ready to go. So we'll continue. Now the next thing would be now for us to try to send the requests. If it does not work, then you'll be receiving the errors and displaying them to the users, telling them that, for example, console.log, the fetching the application was not able to fetch the player. The application was not able to fetch the player, and then we give out the error there. So from there, we'll just come and try to send, of course, we will be receiving a response when we send the await fetch, when we send the await fetch URL. So this is the await, you await for the URL to be fetched, and once you receive the data, that will be in this response. So from there, we also receive the data, which will now await for the response.json. so that we can convert the response that we have received here to JSON and receive this as data. And then this will be passed now to a function that will be calling a function display results, which will be having data maybe, and then we can be passing this here now, display results and then data. So before we move on to this function, this may fail also, the response may not come. So if the response may not come, then we'll come and say if not response dot okay, then we'll come and say throw new error. Then the new error that we are going to be drawing is, we'll say this is of course that string literal. You can say it's an, of course this will be a HTTP error in case it will not be able to do that. And then of course we can come and say specify the error itself by saying using a string literal response.status. Respond with that status of that HTTP code that is. So from there you continue now to the data, where we'll be displaying our data, display results. So from here now, what are we interested in? Let's go back to this. So we may be, this JSON response, we will be destructuring. Remember here we have destructured the JSON data. Same way here now, we come inside this function, we'll be able to destructure the data so that we can be able to get the elements that we want inside that from that object or from that array. So from here, array of objects. So from there you have a player key. We may be interested in, for example, the player name, player, let's say player name, player image. These are two that we may be interested in. So you'll have const, we'll declare a constant, will be an array, and then inside there will be structure player name, player image. What else do we need? Player name, player image. We can also have player goals, player goals. What else do we need? Player goals, because they have also we need the team name, the team of that player, team name. So we can also have team name. We also need something like maybe the player assist that they have had this season. So we can say player assist, player assist, player assist. So this one now will be structured from data object, and then from there we come and say const. For example, our output be HTML output will be given by, now we can have this string literals again there, and inside here I will have the paragraph tag, and I will be closing it there. I'll copy paste this severally. Let's close it. Sorry. Copy, I will paste it severally. Align this very fast so that because of time. From there, I'll just come here and pass in the image as the source of the image will be, of course, now $sign, and inside there we pass in the player image. And then from there, of course, we have the alternative in case the player is not found. We'll just pass in players or player 1, 2, 3. The width of this image, you can say it is 200 pixels. Height, you can specify it to auto. And then from there, you can of course set style, maybe, and have a border radius of 50% to make it circular shape. Then you close that image tag there. The other tag is that, of course, player name. So you can say player name, the other item, sorry. So we'll have a player name being displayed there. And then from there, you have the player goals. He has scored player goals. Sorry for that. Has scored these goals, and then the player name belongs to, so maybe you can have again belongs to here. So very fast without wasting time, belongs to team name, belongs to team name, has underscore with, and then you can say with a total of player assists. So that will be good to go. So from there we'll come simply to our page.html and pick the display results. So you come and try to fetch this display result here. So we'll assign this again to, this can move up there. Constant display results, because the document dot get element by ID, and then we will inside there we'll pass in the ID of this, which is display results. Display results. So once we fetch this, then you can come and say display results dot inner HTML. We assign it to the HTML output that we received here. So let's run this program and see how it goes. So I right click here, and then start the preview server very fast, and I'll see what happens. So I'll say Benzema, I'll search, and let's see. Good, there is Benzema. So I can add some border around this also. So around this item called the search players here. So in page.css I can come here and say dot search players. So I'll say border is equals to 1 pixel solid black, and see what happens. Some small modifications here and there. Let's refresh. Benzema send. So there's something wrong, because search players, these are class, search players, copy, let's come here, search players, maybe a typo. Border is 1 pixel solid black. Oh, sorry, for the display, this is the display results, sorry. So this will be display results, so that is okay. So what else can we do in this? We can say you can have a padding of, let's say, 5 pixels, padding of 5 pixels around, create breathing space. Okay, let's make it 10. Let's see what happens. My keyboard has a problem with this. Okay, that's good. So this is attached, so I want to put some gap there. So inside the parent I will say gap 5 pixels to gap these flex items, so that, okay, maybe I'll say 10. Let me put it as 15 to make it look better. Good. This can be also be rounded, so I can come here and say this border is rounded, so we'll say border radius, then I will say 50%, and see what happens. Oh, sorry, there's something, not 50%, but let's say 2 pixels. Yeah, that's a good one. So I'll try Pogba and send, and Pogba is displayed there. So if this has interested you, then I think that is good to go, and maybe we can continue. Maybe in future I will be sharing content on Pixar using pixar.co.ke, where I have created a site that I'm sharing more courses. If you want to see more on this, so you can go under courses, and then under courses you can see master JavaScript, for example, and then the master JavaScript updates. You can see some of the courses that I've tried to share. You can see this is a course that is coming up. If you want to get hooked up with it, just send an email to this, and it will be coming out in November. So you can also share also other content for free here. You can see, for example, the string literals that you are working with there, template literals, sorry. You can see them there, and much more. So if you can follow me on Twitter also at KelvinK, and you'll be able to find me on X, KelvinK. This is my Twitter handle. So I hope that helped you so much, and see you in the next one. Thank you so much.